A question that I get from a lot of people is it okay for me to do my MBA when I'm in my 30s? Well, I've got an answer for you, and I'm going to tell you how to actually convince the admission committee. But before that, how do you convince yourself, right? Why should you really do an MBA? What is the ROI behind it? Just stay with me till the end of the video, and I'm going to give you 3 factors that you should be considering if you're over 30 and looking at an MBA program. So the first factor is you need to understand that in your industry and in your function, you probably have grown because you were an operational expert, right? Maybe you are great at technology. Maybe you are great at finance. Maybe you are great at manufacturing. But at some point, you're going to hit a glass ceiling of sorts where you need to be knowing more about what's happening in the organization, correct? You cannot be just an operational expert who is focusing on one area. MBA gives you that cross-functional exposure. And the example that I usually give is that, MBA is more like a, thali, a Gujarati or a Rajasthani thali, where you have a little bit of everything, correct? So you cannot go and you sample, right? A little bit of accounts, a little bit of sales, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of, operations. And whatever you like in the second year or maybe towards the end of the course, you can take electives and learn a little bit more of that, right? But it really gives you a cross-functional exposure that will help you become the visionary business leader that you want to be. The second reason why you should consider doing an MBA is probably you have about 8-10 years experience, maybe more, right? And what you might have realized by now is that leadership, having a perspective, right? Having an opinion, having a general wider view of a problem, correct, is something that is needed as you rise up the corporate ladder, right? Now, how do you really get that perspective, right? Now, what a B school does is in that 1 year or 2 years, it really creates this, very strong team-based learning, which means you could be in a team where you have people with different functions, different, backgrounds, different personality types, sometimes even different nationalities, right? Especially if you're looking at an international MBA. Now, in that 1 or 2 years, when you are together with this group, right, what you really get is you get a version 2.0 of yourself. And that's really the point of doing an MBA, right? You don't want to be the same guy who entered an MBA program. You want to be a completely different, transformed person by the time you come out. So this perspective, this leadership is what an MBA gives you. Think of it this way. For a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So if you come from, let's say, a business is facing a particular problem, correct? And you want to turn around and you are a CEO who's been called, right? If you're going to be looking at the problem from a accounts perspective, right? The first thing that you will say is cut costs. If you're going to be looking at it from a marketing perspective, you're going to say increase the advertising budget. If you're going to be looking at it from a product perspective, you're going to say increase the number of features. But what you really need in leadership or a management position is you need to be able to look at it from a very wider angle or a wider lens. So the same problem you're seeing, but you're not just looking at it from one perspective, you're looking at it from multiple perspectives. The third factor is, I want you to think about it. If you're in your 30s and if you have been working for a few years now, you will realize that one of the biggest things that is going to get you your next job is not LinkedIn or Monster or Naukri, but it's actually people that you know, people who are going to reference you. And one thing that kind of really stands out in your resume is the brand equity of either your employers or your education. And that's where an MBA really comes into play. It gives you the brand credentials to put on your CV, but it also gives you a very rich network. So, by the time you're 45 and you're looking for that CTO role, right, your job is not going to come because someone posted that job. Your job is going to come because someone is going to call you and say, hey, there is a requirement and I know that you're a great guy for that. So an MBA really equips you for that future. And if you're going to think, what is the ROI of an MBA? I would like you to think of it a little differently. About 80% of your entire income or wealth you're going to get is in pretty much the last 10 years of your career. So the whole idea is that if you were to plot a graph of the income that you earn versus number of years, what you will realize is with an MBA or without an MBA, correct, the graph is going to be a little different. And at this point, you need to ask yourself, am I looking at an MBA as an investment that is going to be helping me in my career over the next 10, 15, 20 years? Or am I going to look at it as a short-term ROI, something that I can quickly flip over and get in the next 2 to 3 years? If you're going to be thinking the latter, then an MBA ROI could be a little disappointing. The numbers may not work for you. But if you are looking at it as an investment, if you are looking at it an investment in yourself that is going to last 10, 15 years, 20 years, you will definitely see that an MBA will give you the ROI. Think of it as a piece of land that you bought, right? If you're going to be just, trying to buy it and speculatively sell it in a year or two, I cannot really guarantee whether you're going to make money off it. But if you are willing to stay invested, and if you're looking at a time horizon of 10, 15 years, an MBA, just like a land, will give you the ROI. So if you are a mid-career professional, you don't know whether a B school would like you, if you want us to have a look at your profile, go ahead and let us know. We would be happy to work with people like you. And if you are looking at people who have actually considered doing an MBA and actually did it, I have two such of my students, right? One of whom went to IIM Ahmedabad for a 1-year program, and the other one who decided to go to the US to do his 2-year MBA. So I'm going to give you some more details over here. Go ahead and see that profile and see if you're able to take something from there.